live, folks. Got a couple of people already in here. We appreciate y'all coming out. Lincoln Central Coins, the ubiquitous one. Thank you, sir. And Bill 457. Well, thanks, Lincoln. That's very nice. He says, I enjoy your streams. Normally, these days, I've been working on my mother-in-law's house here after work, and today I'm just a little tired. I've been doing floors, and so flooring work is young man's work. And I don't know if y'all know it. Hoogie stands about almost 6'3" and weighs about 220 something, maybe 30 pounds. And so crawling around on the floor is kind of a job, and my knees are bad to start with. Yeah, Lincoln. I've already had two meniscus surgeries already. But not today. Who's your hillbilly? Speaking of tall people, all right. Good to see you, man. Here's Bill 457 again. What, sanding floors? No, I'm laying luxury vinyl plank floors. Remove some carpet and some laminate flooring, putting in luxury, and I mean it's luxurious. Luxury vinyl plank floor. Had to make a little tool to grab it and so I could beat it all into place. But we can talk about that a little bit some other time. We got a few people in here, and I don't want to take up too much airspace here. We did the coin seminar weekend this weekend, and my board back behind me looks kind of cockeyed. But there we straighten up a little bit. And learned a lot of good stuff. There were some good shows out there. Cheapskate had a real good show, and Uper Girl, always good show. And of course, who could forget the cuteness of Papa Joe Durbin with his grandson? But our show went moderately well, and I hope everybody learned something about the Carson City Mint. Now, we had somebody going right behind us. It was Blues Coins. I didn't want to run over into Blues Coins time, and I definitely wanted to get the flooring is hard on a guy, but better than framing. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't do well with any of them. In my work, I do a lot of laminate work, plastic laminates, and a lot of filing and all that kind of crap. But mostly I move stuff from one spot to the other, and somebody else takes it away and puts it in. And anyway, I was talking about the coin seminar weekend. Don't forget to go out there and vote for your favorite show. If your favorite show wasn't mine, that's great. Go vote for your favorite person and get your vote in. I should have written it in here, but it's at coinseminarweekend@gmail.com. There's not that many votes on hands from what I understand. So everybody, if you're listening, get out there and vote for your favorite show from the weekend. But part of the show we didn't cover here at the hobby shop. Lincoln says he voted. I got some of those stickers around here somewhere. You get a sticker, Lincoln. Way to be. But the story I didn't get to talk about. Now, folks, you guys know I work with tools and make stuff all the time. That's part of what the hobby shop thing is. And y'all have seen me work at the lathe and whatnot. When I first started working, making stuff, I worked at the South Carolina State Museum. And I worked there in 1988, actually before they opened the place. They renovated an old cotton mill right down just downhill from the State House in Columbia, and I live near Columbia. So I was on the exhibits team, and we were all state people. And I was a temporary part-time type person. They brought me in to help with the electrician. And so that was my thing, and we started getting close to opening time in October, and I'm looking around going, gee, there's not a whole lot of electrical work left to do. I better learn to do some other stuff. Hi, Chef. Good to see you. Um, and so I picked up, you know, very quickly how to use various of the shop tools and stuff, and caught on quick. And before you know it, I was a key man to help build those, especially the changing exhibits, because I was young, I could work fast and all that. And I was also not such an entrenched state employee that I could work quickly, and take on a lot of work and not gripe about it. And so anyway, that's the South Carolina State Museum. Now, one thing I did learn. Now here we go. We're getting around to Carson City. Y'all, hey Paula, I sent your package, and I hope you like it. Paula, by the way, the winner of the Carson City Dime on Sunday. And anyway, so one thing I did learn when in my tenure, 8 years at the State Museum here, is that museum people are wound a little bit tight. Lord of mercy, as that one fellow says. They are so all fired erudite and so curatorial in their demeanor and their worldview that they don't appreciate common sense or good jokes or anything. All they care about is advancing their career and impressing people with about how erudite they are. So, by the way, erudite means learned and smart and artificially so. So we go back, take a look at this. Y'all saw the title screen. I'm going to switch you over. I don't think here we go. This is the way the Carson City Mint building looks today. A far cry from the spooky old dark thing that we saw on Sunday. Now it's a beautiful modern building with air conditioning and heat and everything, and it was bought up in 1939 by the state of Nevada. It had been idle for about 6 years, and they turned it into the Nevada State Museum. And I'm sure it's a very fine museum. I've seen some YouTube videos with the museum on there, and one of the things one of the amazing things they have is a collection. They have a collection of every single coin except for one, every single coin but one that was minted at the mint during its days when it was open, making coins. I think the one coin that they lack is the 1876 20-cent piece. The 20-cent piece was kind of like the Susan B. Anthony of those days. Nobody liked it. In fact, before it was even really sent out for circulation, it was called off in order to be minted or melted, and only, according to the book, only 14 known specimens survive. So whenever they say, the coins are supposed to be destroyed, there's always a few that get out there. But the mint has a in one of the old vaults. They actually have the vault, and they open it every day, and it has a nice exhibit in there with all those coins displayed in chronological order and everything. And so it's pretty cool. Now, in 1999, we're getting into our story now, as promised. Casanelli Construction Company. Now, this is 1999. This ain't that long ago. Casanelli Construction got the job to build a little park next to the mint property, and part of the job, and I think a playground, but part of the job entailed they had to dig up part of Caroline Street that ran along the side there. So in the process of digging up this street, they actually uncovered some 900, count them, 900 dies from the mint days. Now, I can only assume that they were canceled dies. You know, they like ground a big X in them or something like that. But 900 dies? How? Yeah, you know, uh, I don't get it. I don't know how in the world, you know, they lose. You think, where did I put those 900 dies? Oh yeah, I think I buried them out in the street. That's right. Um, they lost 900 dies, but they recovered them during this thing, and so it was a big deal. And you know, of course, the museum people were very pleased to find such a wonderful archaeological find. You know, from over 100 years ago almost. To them, you know, that's what they live for, is that kind of crap. So here's the guy from Casanelli Construction. There's his picture. He says he decided he would play a little prank on them. They'd had for a long time. They had an old lead ingot type thing laying around their shop, and so he took this old lead. It looked like maybe a piece of silver from the mint, and he took a lettering die and he stamped U.S. Mint dash Carson City, comma NEV period, comma 1876, as if it were a silver ingot from 1876. All right. And then he says I stamped in backwards. He wrote it backwards. He wrote to NSM staff, comma Casanelli Construction 1-1999. So he wrote that backwards, so they couldn't really tell. Well, and he threw it out in the mud. First, he kind of stained up the thing to make it look like an old dirty piece of silver. Threw it out in the mud. Detecting for life. Welcome, welcome. Talking about a little museum story from the Carson City Mint. This was from 1999. The thing is sitting there in the mud, right? And sure enough, I can read it right here. It says, sure enough, just before quitting time on Friday afternoon, a maintenance worker at the facility came out to see if we had dug up anything interesting during the day. This is a maintenance worker now. This is not one of the museum curatorial types or the conservation types or any of them. Almost instantly, he spotted the bar and pulled it up from the pile of mud and dirt. Hey, what do you suppose this is? He asked. Gosh, I don't know. It looks like a silver bar to me. I said, no, he replied, it's probably just a bar of lead. So the maintenance worker spotted it right away that it was a bar of lead. With that, I thought the prank was over. It appeared the worker was not fooled at all by my well-planned surprise. When we arrived back to work after a 3-day stormy weekend, there were several cars from the Nevada Historical Society, State Public Works, the Historical Preservation Office, and other agencies parked at the museum. Now, the director of the museum at the time sent word, after it had been discovered, sent word that many people were very upset. And a written reprimand followed. And so, in the meantime, they had also contacted the U.S. Mint offices in Washington and San Francisco, and they had gotten a geophysics company involved to check the rest of the grounds for any more of these wonderful artifacts. The Mackey School of Mines at the University of Nevada, Reno, performed a spectrographic analysis to determine the composition of the bar. Now, they could have just asked the maintenance worker. The maintenance guy spotted it right away. So they had a spectrographic analysis. Experts from the State Historic Preservation Office and the Nevada Historical Society were contacted to assist with the investigation of this major find. The State Public Works Office was contacted to see if it could shut the construction project down until an in-depth archaeological study could be completed. Well, there you have it. Those wacky museum people. chomping at the bit, just hoping like heck that they'd found something wonderful, and a little common sense, they could have realized that the writing on there was a prank from the construction company, which they eventually did find when somebody actually wrote it out longhand, and then gee, if you read it backwards, it says that. So anyway, Michael Mullins, greetings, welcome, and hello. So there we have our little incident from the Nevada State Museum, circa 1999. Now, that was the main thing that we just didn't have time for on Sunday, but I can never resist a chance to take a dig at the museum crowd. Remember this guy here on the right, this one, Abraham Curry, the father of Carson City. Old Abraham Curry, it says that when he passed away, all his real assets were not liquid at all. They were all tied up in business and stuff, even though over the years he'd made a lot of money. But museum is not that far from Reno. Reno is just north. Reno is probably the next decent sized town north of Carson City. Do not look at the Ponderosa map behind me. It is a work of fiction. Carson City sits right in the corner, that little obtuse angle of Nevada. It sits right along the, I think along the banks of the Lake Tahoe. And if you go north toward the mountains, there's Reno. And it is not far. I would guess probably less than 25 miles. So, and by the way, if I lived out west, I would definitely make sure I had at least one trip down to the historic Branch Mint in Carson City. So, what was I talking about? I'm having a senior moment. Abe Curry. Abe Curry, as his widow claims, he died basically what we would call penniless. He had one silver dollar in his pocket. He was the superintendent of the mint. He was the first superintendent. He was also the warden of the jail. He'd sold the land for the jail back when the place was a territory. All that had gone on. But anyway, when he passed away, basically broke, and he should have collected some of those coins. Then he would have at least coins. But because they had some beauties go through there. He had a home. It was their dream home right there in Carson City. And now, to me, if you die and you have a home, well, then your people can sell the house, and then they have money, But hello, Youper Girl. And by the way, Youper Girl won the grand prize, and she deserved it. She actually did a show that almost it gave me enough information to guess. I think the professor thought I had won for a second until he checked the list, and yeah, Youper Girl had won the grand prize and deserved it too. Let me tell you, she did a lot of work on that. So they say now that allegedly the ghost of Abraham Curry wanders that house as if he's looking for something. And once in a great while, the ghost of Abraham Curry allegedly turns up at the Nevada State Museum building, also known as the Old Mint Building, where he had, done so much in his younger years. Now, there's one other thing I can tell you about museum people. They love a good ghost story because they believe the ghost stories will bring people in to see their museum. So take it for what it's worth. If you visit Carson City, see can you get a glimpse of the lawyer's offices that now occupy Abraham Curry's home that he shared with his wife back in the day. But anyway, it's good to see you guys. I just wanted to do a quick stream and get in that one little story. get out there and support your local museum too. They need all the help they can get all over the country, from what I see. And we'll see you guys soon enough. Like I said, get out there and vote too. Vote for your favorite channel at what's the thing called? Coin Seminar Weekend at gmail.com. So Coin Seminar Weekend at gmail.com. Vote for your favorite. Hey, go out there and vote for Youper Girl. She did a great job. So we'll see you guys next time. I don't know when my next stream will be. Probably when my knees are acting up again. But we'll see y'all then. Until then, take care of those coins. Take care of yourself. Especially if you're out there listening. Travis and Al and Amy. All of you. Take care of yourself. And as always, take care of the YouTube coin community. I'm Scott, and this is the Hobby Shop.